wanted to talk about my latest read that I've been reading, and I just wanted something kind of, I don't know, patriotic, I guess. Where it's 4th of July, and this here would, I guess, would adults and children alike could, young adults and adults alike could enjoy this, young children. But it's called simply White House Kids. White House Kids. The perks, pleasures, problems, and pratfalls of the president's children. And the book is, the book is written by Joe Rhatigan. Again, the book is written by Joe Rhatigan. And the book is entitled, again, White House Kids. Just some interesting things that I found on here. Teddy Roosevelt's children brought a whole zoo to the White House. You know, each family brought their own animals. Well, Teddy Roosevelt brought his little zoo to the White House, basically. It included badgers, mice, raccoons, pigs, parrots, dogs, cats, baby bears, snakes, a one-legged rooster. What about that? A kangaroo rat, and horses. And don't forget the spotted hyena named Bill. It was a gift from the Emperor of Ethiopia. The family taught it tricks and lit it big at the dinner table for scraps. Oldest daughter Alice liked being her snake named Emily Spinach. She liked to bring her snake named Emily Spinach to parties and receptions, and she got bored, she'd take the snake out and let it wrap itself around her arm. And the kids again of the White House. So, actually, we went a little bit too far there. But the White House Kids, again, is the title of this book. I've often wondered when I was a little child, well, what would it be like living in the White House? What would it be like staying in the White House, exploring the White House? I often wondered about that. And reading this book brought a new insight to me. Of course, the earlier days of the White House would have been a lot more interesting, I guess. Up to that in a few minutes. Speaking about bringing animals to the White House, Mila and Sasha Obama were promised a new puppy when they moved to the White House in 2009. The soon-to-be president was asked to breed. What breed they were looking to get. He replied, "Our preference would be to get a shelter dog, but obviously a lot of shelter dogs are mutts like me." It took several months, many news reports and press conferences, and even petitions from family groups before their purebred Portuguese water dog, Bo, came to live with him. And there's a picture of Bo. Portuguese water dog is what Bo was. Bo Obama is a puppy. So that would have been interesting, living in the White House and exploring all the rooms of the White House, just all different kinds of stuff I guess you could get into, the kids could get into. Most daring stunts of the White House, and I thought this is kind of interesting to add on here. One day, Mary Chad Lincoln was entertaining a group of dignified women in the East Room when they heard a child yell, "Get out of the way there!" Todd rushed into the room in a goat-drawn chariot. Tad, this is Tad Lincoln, had harnessed his 2 goats to a chair, drove around the astonished women a few times, and then left. What about that? We're out in the White House, a goat. Irvin Garfield, the 11-year-old son of James Garfield, rode his high-wheeled bicycle down the grand staircase, sped into the East Room, and did a couple of turns before most likely starting to ride all over again. Wow, imagine riding your bicycle down the grand staircase. Teddy Roosevelt's children borrowed large tin trays from the kitchen and used them to slide down the stairs. Quentin Roosevelt, Teddy's youngest son, attempted to cheer up his sick brother Archie by sneaking Archie's pony, Alleguin, into the White House, stuffing him in the elevator, and taking him to the sick boy's room, all without getting caught or getting in trouble. Let's see here. Charlie Taft drove his mother's electric car. She didn't like the big gasoline machines, into a tree, putting it out of commission. He also organized games of tag on the roof of the White House, which included sliding down the roof to the balcony below. Although Woodrow Wilson's daughter were adults, all 3 in their 20s when their father became president, their stunt deserves mention. 2 of them posed as tourists. And went on a bus tour of Washington, D.C. As they passed the White House, one of the daughters said to the guide, "Oh, mister, can't we go in? I want to see where the Wilson girls sleep." What about that? Calvin Coolidge's boys wrestled with the lion cubs that their father received as a gift. Linda Johnson, curious about the White House tourist, was saying, put a trench coat on, wore a scarf over her head, and joined the White House tour. She left with the tour and found herself outside the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. Linda had to convince the officer at the gate to let her back in. Susan Ford, the 17-year-old daughter of President Gerald Ford, was jokingly challenged by a Secret Service agent to attempt to get away from the agency's constant protection. Susan hopped into her car, took off. Her mother was driving through the White House entrance at the time. As the gates opened, Susan sped away before the gates could close. Susan drove around in Washington for a while, picked up a friend, and had some fun before returning home. Them are just some of the things the kids of the White House. Imagine being a child of the White House. I think one of the most saddest things I actually read in the book, one of the most saddest thing is, I know it was the Clintons' children, and I'm trying to think, maybe the Bushes, maybe. But anyway, they had them on a segment of, their look-alike, of course, on a segment of Saturday Night Live, kind of poking fun at them, at the way they looked. How cruel is that, my friend? That would be cruel. President Obama made it clear at the first start, leave my children out of this. Anyway. So some of the stuff that that the kids done after leaving the White House. Jenna Bush, the daughter of President George W. Bush, married in 2008 and is an author. And she does have books out. We will be looking at a few of those books in the future. But married in 2008 and is an author, television correspondent, and also a teacher's aide. Imagine having her as a teacher's aide. Going home to your mom or dad and like, hey, guess what? The president's daughter, former President Bush's daughter is my teacher's aide. That'd be exciting. But anyway, very good book, very full of information, historical. Again, the book is written by Joe Rhatigan. And the book is entitled White House Kids. The book is entitled White House Kids. On the front of the book, it has a picture of Roosevelt, Obama, Kennedy, and also Lincoln right on the front of the book. Family portraits. Roosevelt's, the Obamas, the Kennedys, and the Lincolns. So imagine being a child in the White House, could order, have your own personal shelves right there to fix you something. Your own personal bodyguards, to go with you everywhere. Some of them down through the years didn't like that, as we just read, wouldn't even escape from it for a while, then came back after she had her fun. But not only that, meeting famous people, just walking in the footprints where other people has walked, famous people has lived. And of course, time and time again in the book, it's brought up how big the yard was, that they could play in the yard. They would often, back in the earlier days of the White House, they would invite their friends over to play in the yard, amazing there. But very good book, very, very well written. And I would highly recommend it. White House Kids, The Perks, Pleasures, Problems, and Pratfalls of the President's Children by Joe Rhatigan. You can find this on Hoopla. Like I said, never heard of that author up until just 2 days ago. But anyway, that was my take on one of my 4th of July books, patriotic books. Interesting. Very interesting. God bless.